Hello, everybody, and welcome to Experience Shared, your gaming book club. This is a special edition episode where it is just me and Blythe. We just got done playing Warriors of Might and Magic, which Blythe believed to be a game that she was looking for from her childhood. Blythe, what do you want to tell us a little bit about Warriors of Might and Magic? Was it the game that you were looking for?
Hello, it's me!
How long were you holding that in?
Forever.
Okay. Well, is Warriors of Might and Magic everything you hoped and dreamed it would be?
No, it's not the game that It's not the game that I was looking for. It could be 2.
You think maybe it's the sequel?
Or not technically the sequel, but the PlayStation version of it. It could be that one.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
We played the PS1 version, and it is terrible.
I think I remember the characters like HUD being more minor, but I can't really remember. It's so long ago. Anyways, God, this was terrible.
Yes, this is one of those games where it's like, people are always like, hey, you should play the entire game before you review it or make a retrospective or something like that. But this is also one of those games where it's like, it's so bad that I don't need to play the rest of the game to know that it's bad. It's like, I don't have to be shot to know that I wouldn't like it. And that's exactly what experiencing this was like. It was like bad enough that we could drop it in the middle of it. And it's a short game. It's only 5 hours long, supposedly. We played it for, I'd say about a fourth of the time.
We got to Canyon 2, and if anybody wants to look what the areas are or whatever.
Yeah, we did not play it long, but we played it long enough to have some pretty big issues with it. The very beginning of your game should be the best part of your game. It should be that stuff that hooks the player and keeps them wanting to play. And there was very little there that hooked us. So give us a synopsis of the story.
There really isn't one.
Yeah, you noticed that too? Okay. So the game starts with a bunch of like people dying and burning in a village and stuff like that, and then it cuts to a execution event in the middle of town where with a dripped out mage in robes. He's wearing like purple robes. He's got like tons of gold jewelry all over him. Like he is like iced out. He says, "You have been sentenced to death for necromancy." And then he turns and then he says, what's the name of the gimp mask that he puts on him?
The Mask of the Accused.
"You are now forced to wear the mask of the accused," and it's like this parasite thing that's got like a just so conveniently has a mask-shaped hole in it. So you put it on his head, and then the mask forms around his head and shoulders, and then puts its teeth into his shoulders. It's weird, and it looks very fetishy the whole time that it's happening. And speaking of fetishy, the lead character is very homoerotic looking. It's like Conan the Barbarian kind of stuff. Like,
have we talked about the game yet? Did we say the name of the game?
Yeah, Warriors of Might and Magic.
Oh, okay.
But so far, we had only seen one warrior. So as far as we know, it's Warrior of Might and Magic.
Well, we did end up killing some warriors.
Well, the armors, but we don't know if they're living or not. But as this is happening, there's a lady who is wearing very little clothing and has like just a breastplate on. It's not even like a breastplate. I would say it's like a quarter breastplate because it barely covers anything.
She has a corset on, I think.
She's a goth lady. She kind of looks like Cher. She just watches it from her window and does nothing to help us. And then the mages like pull the lever, Kronk. And then they pull the lever, and we get dropped into the pit with just the mask, our breeches, and our rippling back muscles that look like Baki's dad's back muscles.
Drunk.
And that is all the story that we get. We are just supposed to escape the pit.
Riveting.
Yeah. So the gameplay.
You mash square until something dies, until you get magical crossbow, and then you don't use the crossbow because it's really bad, and you just mash something until it dies.
Well, it's a character action platformer, but the combat portion of it is like heavily focused on trying to be an action RPG of like a traditional action RPG style. I would say it's like Dark Souls if bad.
You can't just say that. You can't just say Dark Souls if bad.
Yeah,
there's plenty of Dark Souls that are bad.
Yeah, that's really vague. You start with a melee weapon, which is just a sword, and you mash square to do a 3-hit combo. It has very little impact, but monsters do recoil to it, and it definitely feels very light, like he's just whipping it around, and it's like made of paper. And then you don't get a dodge, you don't get a block, but you have a shield on your left arm. it just contributes to your armor total.
It's yeah.
You don't block.
Face value damage, and then the armor reduces.
There is lock-on, which was surprising because it's a PS1 game. Not a lot of PS1 games had lock-on, and that was just circle. The camera doesn't do a very good job of following the locked-on target, though. So it's not like a good lock-on. It's not like Dark Souls lock-on. And your character doesn't track with the lock-on either, so when you go and aim to use a spell, you will miss a lot unless you are aiming ahead of where they're moving.
It's just for your camera. That's all it's for.
Yeah. The spells, you find a magic crossbow first, and it runs off your mana instead of running off of crossbow bolts. And so you just press the triangle button to fire, and you'll just fire in whatever direction you're facing. Unless you use the first person mode, which lets you aim, but you cannot walk while in first person mode. And then you get fireball spell, and then you get a lightning spell. You get a lot of spells, but all of them just feel not great. Blythe, what was your favorite spell out of the ones we got?
Lightning, because it killed things in one hit.
Yeah. Fireball. Some enemies, you'd hit them with the massive fireball that's like the size of your torso, and it would not stagger them at all. They would just take the hit, and they would not react at all.
It was like if we shot a flaming Cocoa Puff at them. That's what it looked like.
Yeah. It looked like a giant flaming Cocoa Puff. Oh yeah, the homoerotic character design. I mentioned it a little bit. The main character kind of looks like he's from like Conan the Barbarian universe. He's got long blonde hair. He's got big muscles, big rippling muscles, and big rippling back muscles. He's very much like, I want to say he's like gay homoerotic, but homoerotic in the sense of this is what guys think the peak male form looks like. So it's homoerotic for straight men, if you get what I'm saying.
I would say Adonis with a gimp mask.
Yeah, that's fine. Adonis with a gimp mask. The voice acting is actually pretty decent, which was surprising. The sound effects, though, the sound effects are atrocious. Like, the sound effect library that they pulled all the sound effects from must have been like the most commonly used stuff ever, because every sound effect that we heard is definitely a sound effect you've heard elsewhere. There are B-roll screams. One of the monsters that is not a bear makes a very loud bear growl. Yeah, the bear noise that you know. The bear noise that you're thinking of from the sound effect, that it is that exact bear sound. The magic sound that when you pick up something. What was the other sound effect that was really bad? The whooshing sound effects from the menus. Like everything on the menu. And I don't even know if that was picked up on the microphone. Animations are hilarious. He runs with a purpose. He runs like he's got a turtle head poking out, and he's got to find the nearest toilet as fast as possible. He runs with a man who's aware of his destiny.
He runs like somebody put a gimp mask on him, and it smells bad.
The frame rate is atrociously low. Like,
2 enemies lowers it down to like 10 frames.
Yeah, and there's multiple sequences where you're fighting 3 enemies, and that lowers the frame rate down to like 5 frames per second. The game, I think, probably runs at 24 or 30 FPS the whole time and then drops further. There is a PlayStation 2 version of the game, and maybe that plays better. I hope it would, because it's got better hardware. The enemies are static for the stage. The only thing that's different is that the enemies can spawn infinitely if there's a mob spawner around, and it very much is just a mob spawner. Blythe even joked that she had Silk Touch so that we could take it and move it elsewhere. Killing the enemies that spawn from those does not give you XP, so farming is not possible, so it feels like the leveling system is pointless. It just feels like it should be an end-of-stage reward kind of thing so that we have a set value we go up all the time. Maybe it's possible to farm later.
All it just gives you is health and mana.
I just said Gimp Mask in the notes.
That's what it is.
Goofy animations, yeah. Climbing, he climbs like he's crawling on all fours after a drunken bar crawl.
He inchworms.
Yeah. The saving and loading saves takes ages. Super, super long. Like 30 to 60 seconds just to save at a save spot. And it's an autosave too.
This game is so bad.
Yeah. Almost no story. The most story we get from the game, that we got from the game at that point, was a conversation we had with a crow. Shield but no block, buggy enemies. Yeah, there was a situation where I ran into some grubs. They're the first enemy. They're kind of like goblins. And they sat there, they stood perfectly still, they looked at me, and they did nothing. I meleeed them, and it went right through them, dealing no damage. They just sat there and looked at me. Yeah. And this is on the first stage.
That's after you came out of the fire temple.
Yeah, something that should have been caught. It's the very first stage. I think that there was not a lot of QA testing. There was also the situation multiple times where enemies ran from Blythe, or there were times where she hit them with a fireball, and it did hit them, but the hit doesn't register because they don't react to fireball for some reason, but they just kept running like nothing was happening, but they were taking damage. Combat doesn't feel impactful. Yeah, it feels like swinging around a butter knife.
Some of them are very tanky. Like, it just takes so many hits.
The camera is really bad. The auto camera is really bad. It gets hung up on the environment and it doesn't move itself out of the way. And the camera control for moving the camera is holding L2 to rotate it clockwise and holding R2 to rotate it counterclockwise. Like it's Kingdom Hearts 1. Very buggy. Just everything. Like there's an issue with everything at one point. There's multiple occasions where we saw objects and the main character popping in front of the environment.
I think that's just a factor of the time. I think I've seen games like Tomb Raider do that before.
Billy May's Minotaur.
Oh yeah, it's just like some like owl person dude, but he looks like a minotaur, but like he has like a human big beefy body and then like cow legs. And it's super weird. You think he'd have like cow legs, man body, cow head.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a cow head. He has a human head, and it looks like Billy May's.
It's super weird. I don't know what game is an enigma.
Yeah, the most interesting thing about the game is how it somehow got printed to a disc. Like, based on it coming out on the PS2, what I'm guessing is that they had to divide their efforts. They had a PS1 team and a PS2 team, and they had to make the same game work on both systems.
They probably released one, and then the PS2 came out around while they were developing it, and so they released one, and then they released it again for 2 and like redid things with it.
We don't know what the deal is for PS2.
The
and
story
we will not be
is
finding
different
out.
in 2.
In 2 the sequel or 2 the PS2 version?
There's no like 2. I mean like PS2 version is this different.
What? They didn't make a sequel to this game? It was so good though.
There is one called Crusaders of Might and Magic. I don't know what that one is about, but
just the whole game works as like a character action platformer while still trying to be an action RPG, and it doesn't really work. Like you're given weapons at a like consistent like specific rate.
It's just like you have to find them in like there are some that are right there in front of you, and then there are some that you have to work for that are like in secret areas or.
And you find them in the stage like Spyro finding gems.
You find a lot of things. It's a collectathon as well.
Yeah, it's a collectathon as well. So it's like it couldn't decide whether it wanted to be a character action platformer or if it wanted to be an action RPG. And there's no depth in it.
No.
There's no RPG depth whatsoever. You get experience for killing things, you level up, you get some HP, you get some MP, that's it. Your stats mostly come from whatever weapon you're using, and if you find a shield, it gives you increased armor.
And the platforming is atrocious. It does not do anything well.
The boss fight combat is really bad too. There's a dragon that you fight immediately that is not a dragon. It's like just some sort of like reptilian dog thing.
Big lizard.
You hit it with all your magic until you're out of magic, and then you run up to it and you start whacking it. If you choose to 1v1 it, just melee versus melee, it will kill you first. But you can also just walk around the enemy and hit them on their flank. Like, walk up to their flank, hit them 3 times, move to their flank again, hit them 3 times. And you'll just keep hitting them as they spin around in circles. And that's the strat for the 3 bosses we fought. The game is also just extraordinarily slow, which is really funny because we just got done playing Parasite Eve and talking about how it was really slow. And I think this video is probably going to come out before that one, just because of how much quicker this one will be to make. But I don't know. I'm starting to think that every PS1 game is just really slow for some reason.
Don't say that. That's not true. Medieval is a good game.
So we put fast forward on, and I think it was 3 or 4 times speed. And Blythe was playing it, and she was like, "Oh my god, this is so much better. It's like it's a real game." Which is the same thing I said at the end of Parasite Eve. I was like, "Oh my god, it's playing at a normal speed for a game now." So it's just funny that happened twice. Like it's not a lot, but it's just funny that it happened twice. You got it.
I want to forget this game.
I know you want to forget this game. But we've also only recorded for 17 minutes, which means that this podcast episode is only going to be like 13 minutes long.
That's fine. Not every podcast has to be an hour long.
Most of ours are like an hour and a half long. So
that's because we have 4 people, and also we usually play a lot of the game.
Or one of us at least finishes it. Usually, you're not getting that.
We're not doing that because this is really bad. I fell into a pit, and of course, like I didn't save, but that's because I knew we weren't gonna keep playing if I did die.
Yeah, she was playing on 3 times speed, and she was like, oh my god, this is like a real game. And then she fell off the platform and immediately fell down a pit, and it was instant death pit. And then it took her back to her last save, which was a long time ago, because she was not saving frequently. She was like, alright, I think we're done with this game.
There's just not a lot to it. It's like, it's just area after area. There's like no substance to it.
It feels unfinished.
Yeah.
It feels like It definitely feels like the first in a series, and then the sequel makes it better in every way.
Kind of like also a 3DO game, though.
It's made by the 3DO company.
Yeah.
That doesn't really necessarily mean that it was a 3DO specific game. Although a lot of those did get ported because the 3DO did really badly.
Yeah.
It was overpriced. Very overpriced. I think that was the system where they let other companies make the hardware, and then they could just put their name on it. And then they were like, as long as you just give us part of the money, you can make the console yourself. And they were fine with that because they knew they were going to make a lot of money off of software sales. The thing is that the system ended up being so expensive and the price is so inconsistent, no one could get one for a good price. So no systems were bought and no software was sold. Yeah, we truly missed out.
Did.
Yeah.
Just like we did with Warriors of Might and Magic.
Yeah, I feel so bad for not finishing it. We'll never find out the mystery of Big Booby Lady.
I'm gonna cry myself to sleep tonight because I couldn't finish the mighty game Warriors of Might and Magic. Its exterior, like our main character, is too beefy.
I think before we hop into the next game you think might be the game from your childhood, you do a little more research on it first to find out whether it is.
I spent an entire day, like 24 hours straight, looking for it.
And the best you came up with was this.
Well, I thought it was because of how dark it looked, and I remember the game being very dark, but I can't remember. I remember being in like this temple, and there were like, and I refused to go in because I was so scared of how like dark and scary it was, and there are like enemies and stuff like that. But I don't remember like how like it played or what the character looked like. It was like my brain is blank.
I
think I remember the character having like a club and a shield, and then you went whoa, whoa, whoa. But
do you remember what system it was on?
It could have been like PS1 or PS2. I think it was either one of those.
Okay. I was gonna say you could go onto r/gaming tip of my tongue, but you don't know anything about the game because you were too scared to even try it. So it could actually be anything. Like the PS1 had so many games.
I also remember like the character having like a blue mana bar and then like a red health bar.
Oh yeah, that narrows it down.
And like a bronze thing. I don't think it was Darkstone. I know I've played Darkstone before. I don't think it was Darkstone.
All right, so Warriors of Might and Magic. I do not recommend it. Blythe, do you recommend it?
No.
Any final thoughts?
Burn it.
My final thought is I feel bad for the person who actually spent $60 on it in order to archive it.
Did you look up how much it cost on for a physical copy?
Oh, for on the secondhand market? No, I haven't looked at that. Let's look at that real quick. Let's check what price charting says.
$250 Boomba dollars. 250 Chibi Robo copy.
This is great. It looks like Opera does not want to open.
The Curse of Warriors of Might and Magic.
Yeah, it might be.
We didn't finish it, and thus we've been cursed with bad luck. It's like Carmen Winstead.
Alright. Let's see how much Warriors of Might and Magic is on the PS2. It says it is worth $7 loose, $8 complete. That's with the manuals and everything. And then the PS1 version, somehow the complete price is worth more on the PlayStation 1, but it's $13. I'm guessing someone bought this back in the day for full price or maybe $20 bargain bin and then uploaded it to archive.org or something like that. But yeah, someone at one point I think paid full price for that, and that is unfortunate. Very unfortunate. At one point it was 99 cents.
That's a steal.
Yeah, from us. Alright, thanks everybody for watching.
Bye bye.